Back
Okay,
to the slideshow.
so I just mentioned that a lot of this next stuff is
Okay,
background.
defining child labor.
Yeah.
Okay, so that deepens my definition of hazardous, answering my earlier question of what makes it harming a child's physical, mental, or moral development. I'm wondering, just as a curiosity, how that connects to the UN's child, Children's Declaration of Rights.
Okay.
And then I'm beginning to wonder more about like the adherence of Nepal to those documents that are certainly in place to have the international community protect child labor. Think about going back to my post-colonialism, noticing a lot of the brick kilns having some presence in countries that we know have been destabilized. Right there in the Himalayas, Nepal. Have you ever been?
No. Have you?
No, my friend was in the Peace Corps there, though.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So politically, I'm wondering, I see Kathmandu is the capital, but I wonder where their political, my memory is reminding me of India, more like closer ties to India than to China.
Right.
But I could be wrong about that. But thinking about how like we have China to the north, India to the south, really sort of situated between these two powerhouses.
Rock and hard place.
In Asia, you know?
Yeah. Okay, then I'm going to skip you through because I have something else.
Okay.
So keep going. Keep going. It shows a lot of... They worked very hard on this. Like, and actually, okay, you don't have to do the actual thing.
Okay.
But here's like the sources that they would be given, for instance. So if you could just walk through this for a couple of seconds.
Is there a choice of words for head note? Is that just...
You can give us feedback and we'll take it.
Oh, okay.
Do you have feedback?
I just wonder if a kid saw that, what they would make sense of.
I didn't know what to make sense of until I started reading it. And then I'm like, okay, this is different than the attribution, which, I don't know. I will ask them how they decided those two words.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll definitely ask them. I don't know.
I think that, like, in the language of,
This is in Michigan. I don't know if they're different.
And I don't know if they're different.
I have no idea, but I'll ask them.
Yeah.
I noticed that when I first started this. I'm like, I'm not sure what that is. Now, then I started reading it, and I understood what it was.
Because I like the italicized text, and then the source text is larger, so there's an emphasis
In two different ways.
in two different ways.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And part of what I think is helpful to teach kids is just to recognize what the text might be communicating to you.
Right.
But
The
head
words
note,
might.
yeah. Wow. He hasn't been to school for many years. I don't have it in front of me, is the acronym IRWAC, IRE, is that the international?
I don't know.
So I don't know who this group is, the Earwalk. And then down here,
Yeah.
oh, is it International
there you
Research
go.
on Working Children?
Yeah.
But
the
wouldn't there
O
be
isn't-
another O?
It's
And there's not an E. So no, that's not
it's
it.
no E. Because otherwise, no.
So I don't know where that might just be something else. I don't know. That's helpful. Like, who's that group? And I can't remember the acronym from the.
Yeah, I'm going to look that up now.
So, do you want me to think about this source?
Yeah. Well, we already know we have to look something up.
Right. Definitely. Let's see what this IRE. Okay, so this is an Amsterdam-based foundation. International Research on Working Children. Established to generate more research on child labor. Looks at the issue from child labor from the perspective of child rights and with a focus on the socioeconomic environment.
So it is. That's weird. Oh, it's probably like...
But this isn't the same as this.
Okay.
International Labor.
No. No, but it's like the wrong letters. But, it might be. Is it from another language? Where they change stuff around?
Well, it sounds like they're out of Amsterdam,
Okay.
not connected with the UN's
Right.
group.
There's a different
So this is
group.
like the UN's group.
Yeah, but why is it about the missing E in the wrong O place?
International Research on Working Children.
So it is that thing. But
You're right.
So I'm wondering if it's because it's translated from a different language.
Oh, maybe.
Anyway.
Okay.
I don't know. Okay, this is great. So this is one source. If you click, this is a second, and then click third with the table, and then one more. I think there's 6, and then 4, 5, and 6. Okay, and then we have you write your essay.
Okay.
Okay, this is for 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade teachers.
Okay.
The big question is, maybe we can use your paper now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the big question is, for this part, is how do the teachers themselves think about inquiry, think about the discipline of history? One of them was trained as a math teacher until this year.
Oh, wow.
You
Okay.
know.
Yeah.
This is 6th grade, 7th grade.
Right.
It's a different world than you're in.
Right. Although not altogether different.
Okay, but it's different. So we're going to find big differences on what you just did. And what you just did was like beyond, what we could ever hope for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like I said, ceiling effect. But we can't really. So there's 2 problems. So now I'm asking you like I wouldn't ask them.
Right.
Okay, now
Okay.
I'm coming out of the interview to a different interview. That's
Okay.
why I'm speeding through that part. How could we get something that would take like 25 minutes? This would take way too long.
Mm-hmm.
25 minutes to sort of assess their. So you did something very awesome that we could only hope for. You situated the task. You spent a long time. Oh my God, that's like expert knowledge is taking forever on the task and saying, this is what I'm being asked to do. Now I'm going to brainstorm it. The first teacher, none of that. She might have been nervous and everything, but I don't think that's part of her model of what she's supposed to be doing.
Right.
So how could we, and then you did tons of stuff with sourcing. None. I mean, it was the source 1.
Mm-hmm.
The kind of problem that you have Okay. The contextualization, the themes. You had political, economic. Remember those things for the buckets?
Yeah.
You know, what were those? What were they called? The economic, political.
Oh, are you talking about back from Ready Days?
Yeah.
Our interpretive frameworks.
Frameworks. That's what it was. And then you also did a whole bunch of stuff with hypothesis testing. And, okay. Is there anything that we could do? I think you might have a question.
You good? Bring right over here, Dominic. Good to go. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Have a good afternoon.
Is there any kind of thing that we could do that wouldn't be stressful? Wouldn't be like we're testing you or we're evaluating you, but would give us an indication. Like, very quickly I could tell the difference between, she didn't even look at the source. It was Weinberg.
Right.
You know.
Thank you, Ms. Oprah.
Yes,
Have a
yeah.
good one.
It was total Weinberg. Like, you went, what am I getting? It never went to another source outside of the thing.
Right.
So there's so many ways to get it, but we can't take forever, and we don't want them to feel tested.
Right.
So do you have any, like, is there, and it's definitely not a DBQ because that's a test, and it's not an inquiry, and we really want this to be about inquiry, not taking a test.
Right.
Do you know
So
what I mean?
what you're trying to create for the teachers?
It's sort of like, what do they, there's two pieces.
How do
really.
you uncover what they don't know?
Yeah. Is there a, like, is one of the reasons that they're having trouble with this intervention is they're really not comfortable with it themselves.
Yes.
To be quite honest.
Yes.
But how can we demonstrate that here? And you had both things. You had the knowledge. So there's sort of three things just about sourcing, but you could do it for any of these. It's sort of like, when would you do it? That you would do it. What are you doing? That you would do it. Why you would do it. And the willingness, like you went off and said, I'm going to go look this up. This is bothering me.
Right.
The willingness to do it. That's a whole nother piece. But
Right.
that's sort of under why, because it's important enough. Like, why would I keep doing this if I don't know who this organization
Right.
is?
Right.
You know what I mean? Is there any
Yeah.
kind of way that we could get at that?
Man, now I'm reflecting on the teacher network days, and that was always a challenge for us.
But there's no, like, test that you gave them.
No. What we did was we had two different tasks.
Okay?
One was a kind of like a very constrained text set through, I think it was actually one of Weinberg's, because it was the Children's Crusade.
Mm-hmm.
So 1963, the March in Birmingham. Why do the children march?
Okay.
I can't remember the question.
We played with that one too with
But
Mike.
that text set was very much,
Oh, that's a small text set.
very small.
And we know how this is supposed to function. We have them laid out. Because
Right.
Brent and I helped with Mike laying that out.
Right.
And that is a
then,
small text set.
do you mind if I click out of
Yeah.
this?
Yeah, because I'm good with this. But we
Okay.
need to come back to this document.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
We will. What I wanted to pull up for you, I wonder if I have this still in my Google Drive.
But what they take to doing a task.
So, in that particular one, Mike was leading.
Okay.
And part of what our conversation centered on that day was text affordances and limitations, which,
So you're already getting them to know that they should be paying attention. But that's okay.
exactly. But prior to that, I led a session around a text set that I created.
Oh, okay.
And, not this. And that
And that one's
was-
a little easy for maybe because it's in the news all the time. That Birmingham seems to be like
Right.
a lot.
So what we did,
That's why I didn't like that one. It was like, God,
oh
there's always some
man,
anniversary.
and
or something.
I have this, maybe it's this. Dang it. I have somewhere where I led a group on we